Thank you very much, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It's a privilege for me to join you at this 23rd session of the Doha Forum, an important platform for shaping collective commitment to peace, stability, and human development. I bring you the warmest greetings from the people of the Republic of Ghana, and I extend my profound appreciation to the government and people of Qatar for your hospitality and continued leadership in convening this global dialogue at the highest level. I also thank you for the privilege to set the tone for this all-important discussion. In Ghana, the principle that education is a fundamental instrument of justice is firmly rooted in our national constitution in Article 25 of the 1992 Constitution, and it provides that, and I quote, "All persons shall have the right to equal educational opportunities and facilities. With a view to achieving the full realization of that right, basic education shall be free, compulsory, and available to all." This foundational article captures the soul of our national commitment that education is not a privilege, nor is it an afterthought of government policy, but an inherent right, a necessary condition for the dignity, empowerment, and full realization of every citizen. This constitutional declaration reflects a universal truth that education is the purest expression of justice, especially in times of crisis. Our meeting here today is taking place in a world that is confronted with multiple overlapping crises, conflict, economic shocks, climate instability, pandemics, and growing social and economic inequalities. These crises do not only disrupt economies, they disrupt childhoods. They do not only destroy infrastructure, they destroy the dreams of our children. In such times, education must become the battleground for justice. Education is justice when it ensures that a child uprooted by conflict does not lose her dreams or her future. Education is justice when a child living with disability receives targeted support in order to thrive. Education is justice when learning continues despite pandemics, economic hardship, or climate disasters. Education is justice when young people are equipped to rebuild their communities and lead global transformation. In every crisis, education stands as the first line of protection, the most reliable social stabilizer, and the foundation on which long-term recovery can be built. And this is why education in emergencies must be seen as life-saving and not optional. I commend the organizers of the Doha Forum for the presentation of this year's awards to Alex Thier and Saad Mohseni for the work they are doing in closing educational learning gaps in two societies that are undergoing some of the worst crises known in recent history. Even in normal times, policymakers are always examining how to reform education to make it universally available and relevant in the context of a rapidly changing world. This demand is even more urgent in societies that are affected by war and dislocation. The disruption of education affecting a current generation of children in Gaza, in Afghanistan, Sudan, and elsewhere is an unfolding humanitarian tragedy that will play out for decades to come. Ghana's own journey demonstrates that the most resilient nations are those that prioritize education even in the most challenging moments. And so over the past decades, we in Ghana have pursued bold reforms to expand opportunity, strengthen justice through education. For example, our free basic secondary education have enabled millions of Ghanaian youth to access education regardless of their family income. Investments in TVET and digital literacy, strengthening early childhood and basic education. A period when this world innovated for educational justice was during COVID-19. Schools were closed across the world and countries. Various countries had to innovate and implemented some of the most adaptive education in emergency times. Nationwide radio and TV learning programs were launched. Digital platforms for remote learning were deployed. Community-based teaching and tutoring were provided, and teachers were supported to innovate new methods to keep learning alive. These measures were expression of justice, ensuring that no child was abandoned in a moment of global crisis. The global experience during the COVID pandemic demonstrates that education systems can be built with resilience at their core. When crisis hits, classrooms should not be the first to close and the last to reopen. They must remain anchors of hope, stability, and protection. The conversation of education as justice in times of crisis is relevant to Africa, where 30 million children remain out of school. Millions more are in school but not learning. Climate-related emergencies are displacing communities and shutting down schools. Digital divides are widening socioeconomic gaps. Education is not the only focus of SDG 4, quality education, but also the enabler of all the other sustainable goals. Because without education, we cannot end poverty, which is SDG 1. Without education, we cannot achieve good health and well-being, which is SDG 3.